If you're over 70 years old, let me ask you a simple question. What's your usual routine after dinner? Maybe you push back your chair, let out a satisfied sigh, and sink into the sofa. Maybe you reach for the remote or your phone, scroll through your messages, watch a favorite show, or catch up on the news. Sounds relaxing, right? But what if I told you that this peaceful, seemingly harmless habit, sitting for hours after dinner without moving, could be silently straining your heart? Now, this isn't about pointing fingers or shaming comfort. Everyone deserves rest, especially in their golden years. But this particular pattern, this extended stillness right after a meal, is quietly doing damage. Not all at once, but little by little. And by the time the signs show up, like shortness of breath, irregular heartbeat, fatigue, or even swelling in your legs, the stress on your heart has already been building for years. This story isn't meant to scare you, it's meant to open your eyes, the same way mine were opened when I realized just how powerful the time after dinner is. What you do or don't do in that window between dinner and bedtime could be one of the biggest factors in how well your heart ages. So let's explore why sitting for hours after dinner, especially after the age of 70, is far more harmful than most people realize. It starts with the basics of how the body works. When you eat, your digestive system kicks into high gear. Your stomach churns, your intestines move, and your body redirects blood to help process nutrients. That's a good thing, but here's the problem. If you eat and then immediately sit, or worse, recline, your blood flow slows down. Digestion becomes sluggish. Your heart, which is trying to keep everything in balance, now has to pump harder to circulate blood that's moving more slowly. It might not feel like much at first, but over time, this repeated strain can increase your risk for high blood pressure, heart disease, and blood clots. And if you're over 70, your body simply doesn't recover from this as easily as it used to. Your circulation isn't quite as efficient, your arteries may have stiffened a bit, your muscles, especially in your legs, may not be working as hard to help move blood back toward the heart. All of this creates the perfect storm for heart strain, and it's made worse by doing nothing. You might be thinking, but what harm could sitting on the couch do? Well, here's what the science says. Sitting for long periods after meals can cause spikes in blood sugar and insulin levels. When you eat, especially carbohydrate-rich foods, think bread, pasta, rice, desserts, your blood sugar rises. That's normal. But if your muscles are inactive, they can't help absorb and use that sugar. Instead, it lingers in your bloodstream longer, leading to insulin resistance and inflammation, both major contributors to heart disease. Your metabolism slows down too. The rate at which your body burns calories drops dramatically during inactivity. Over time, this contributes to weight gain, especially around the midsection. Another known risk factor for heart issues, and then there's the risk of blood clots. When you sit still, especially in soft, slouched positions, blood tends to pool in your lower legs. If you're dehydrated, and many older adults are in the evening hours, that blood thickens, and thick, slow-moving blood is a recipe for clot formation. If a clot forms and travels to your lungs or heart, it can be fatal. Sound dramatic? It is, but it's also preventable. And you don't need to turn your life upside down. You don't need to train for a marathon or do jumping jacks after dinner. The solution is surprisingly simple, and I'll tell you exactly what to do about it in part 2. But first, let's look at what the body truly needs in the hours after dinner. Not punishment, not hard exercise, just gentle, purposeful movement. Because the truth is, movement is medicine, especially after 70. Let's go into part 2 next, where I'll share exactly how just 10 minutes of a certain kind of activity after dinner can completely transform your heart health, metabolism, and even your sleep. When I first heard that sitting too long after dinner could hurt my heart, I brushed it off. Come on, I thought, I'm not running a marathon. I just ate dinner. And I'm tired. But once I started to connect the dots between my nighttime routine and how I felt the next morning, the heaviness in my chest, the sluggishness, the occasional flutter in my heart, I realized something needed to change. So I started small. I told myself, just 10 minutes. 10 minutes of movement after dinner. Not a workout, not a routine, just movement. What happened next truly surprised me. At first, it was awkward. I'd stand up while watching TV and just walk in place. I'd tidy the kitchen, fold some laundry, or walk slowly from room to room. Nothing intense, just enough to keep my legs moving and my blood flowing. And in just 1 week, I noticed the difference. I woke up feeling lighter. My sleep was deeper. That heavy, bloated feeling I used to get in the evenings, gone. I didn't realize it, but my heart had been quietly begging me for this. You see, walking after a meal, even slowly, helps your body in so many ways. Your muscles begin to act like pumps, helping move blood through the body. Your digestive system gets a boost. Your metabolism speeds up slightly, and your blood sugar levels, they stay more stable because your body is using that sugar instead of letting it sit in your system. What amazed me most is how quickly the body responds. I didn't have to wait months or even weeks to feel better. Just 1 or 2 days of gentle post-dinner movement made a noticeable impact. Over time, my energy improved, my blood pressure readings came down, and my doctor was seriously impressed. But it's not just about the physical benefits. Something is calming about walking in the evening. The day is done, the sun is setting, the world slows down. It became a kind of ritual for me, a moment to reflect, breathe, and reset. That peaceful feeling carried into my sleep, which, as we'll explore in a later part, is essential to heart health. Now, I want to be clear about something. Movement doesn't have to mean exercise. For many people over 70, the word exercise brings up images of sweating, jumping, or straining. That's not what I'm talking about. This isn't punishment, it's gentle care. It's honoring your body with motion. So if you're not sure what to do after dinner, try one of these simple options. Put on music and sway in place while cleaning up the dishes. Walk slowly around your home, or even just pace the hallway for 10 minutes. Step outside and walk to the end of your driveway and back a few times. Do light stretches while watching your favorite show. Reach, twist gently, roll your shoulders. Or listen to Al Younger. If you like TV, just stand up and move during commercials. Every little bit helps. If balance is a concern, use the back of a chair or countertop for support. If your legs get tired, break the 10 minutes into 2 5-minute bursts. It's not about perfection, it's about progress. And here's what makes this even better. Movement after dinner doesn't just help your heart. It helps your brain, it helps your joints, it helps prevent weight gain and keeps your metabolism from slowing down too much in the evening. All of this adds up to a stronger, steadier, younger feeling body. One that supports you instead of slowing you down. The biggest challenge most people face isn't the movement itself, it's the habit of stillness. We get used to the couch, to the comfort of our chair, and before we know it, 2, 3, 4 hours have passed without a single step. But here's the truth. We weren't meant to sit still for that long, especially not after a meal, especially not in our 70s and beyond. So let me challenge you, just like I challenged myself. For the next 7 days, after you finish dinner, give yourself 10 minutes of movement. It doesn't have to be fancy. It doesn't have to be perfect. Just move. After those 7 days, check in with yourself. How's your sleep, your energy, your mood, your digestion? I promise you'll notice something, and once you feel it, you'll never want to go back to those long, still evenings again. In the next part, we'll talk about something most people completely overlook: how your sitting posture after dinner can either help or hurt your heart and lungs. It sounds small, but it's a detail that makes a big difference, especially if you spend your evenings watching TV or reading. You might not think much about how you sit after dinner. Most of us don't. You finish your meal, push your chair back, and settle into the softest seat in the house. Maybe it's your recliner, maybe it's that cozy spot on the couch where the cushion knows your shape. You sink in, exhale, and think, this feels good. But here's what your body is saying: help, I can't breathe properly. That's not an exaggeration. After 70, the way you sit has a far greater impact on your heart, lungs, and circulation than most people realize. Let's talk about what happens when you sit in that slouched, rounded posture. Shoulders forward, spine curved, and stomach folded inward. First, your diaphragm, the muscle that helps you breathe, gets compressed. You're not taking deep, full breaths. You're shallow breathing, which means less oxygen reaches your bloodstream. Less oxygen means your heart has to pump harder just to deliver what your body needs, and over time, that puts unnecessary strain on your heart. Second, that slouched position makes it harder for your digestive system to do its job. Your stomach is trying to process a meal, but now it's being compressed by your body weight. Food moves more slowly. You're more likely to experience gas, bloating, and acid reflux, all of which keep your body in a mild state of stress. And when your body feels stressed, your heart knows it. Third, bad posture reduces circulation. When your spine isn't upright, your blood has a harder time flowing freely. Blood can pool in your legs. Your hands might feel colder, and worst of all, your heart starts working overtime just to keep things going. And let's not forget the effect on your lungs. A slumped chest means your lungs can't expand properly, so you take shallow, short breaths instead of deep, cleansing ones. This limits how much oxygen your body and your heart receives. Your brain fogs up, your energy drops, you feel tired even when you're not doing anything. So what's the solution? You don't have to sit at attention like a soldier, but you do need to give your body the support it needs after dinner. Here's what I've learned to do. When I sit, I choose a chair with a firm back. I place a small cushion or rolled up towel behind my lower back to support my spine's natural curve. I keep both feet flat on the floor, not crossed, not tucked up under me. And I gently pull my shoulders back and down, letting my chest open up. It doesn't feel stiff, it feels freeing. My breathing deepens, my digestion feels smoother, and I can feel the difference in my pulse. My heart is more relaxed. My body feels calm, alert, and supported. Now, here's a little trick I learned. If you're someone who tends to forget posture and only notices after the stiffness sets in, place a gentle reminder nearby, a sticky note on the coffee table that says, sit tall, a small stone in your lap you have to hold with a straight spine. Something simple that brings your awareness back to your body. And if you like to recline, hey, I get it. Just make sure your upper body stays somewhat elevated. A stack of pillows behind your back, a wedge pillow under your shoulders, anything that keeps you from lying flat and compressing your chest right after a meal. Remember, your heart loves oxygen, it loves space, it loves movement, and all of that starts with how you sit. When you pair better posture with light evening movement, like we talked about in the last part, something amazing starts to happen. Your body starts to trust you. It starts to work more efficiently. And that invisible stress your heart was carrying night after night begins to melt away. There's also an emotional side to this. When you sit tall, your mind wakes up. Your body feels more dignified, more capable. It's easier to feel alert, curious, and calm. And that mental clarity spills over into your emotions, helping you feel less anxious, less foggy, and less irritable. It's the little things that make the biggest difference, and sitting up with intention, even if it's just during that post-dinner hour, is one of those things. Now, I'm not here to tell you to overhaul your entire routine, but I am here to invite you to notice, pay attention to how you feel when you sit differently, to give your heart and lungs the space they need to do their best work. When your posture improves, your breathing improves. When your breathing improves, your circulation improves, and when your circulation improves, your heart thrives. In the next part, we'll go deeper into something even more powerful, how your mental habits after dinner could be silently aging your heart, and what you can do instead to bring calm and vitality back into your evenings. After dinner, the body isn't the only part of us that needs care. The mind does too. But here's something not many people talk about. The thoughts we entertain in the quiet hours of the evening may have just as much of an impact on heart health as what we eat or how much we move. Let me explain. Think about how your evenings usually go. You've finished your meal, maybe done a few chores, and finally sit down for some rest. That's when the mind tends to wander or spiral. Maybe it drifts toward the news. Maybe it latches onto a regret from earlier in the day. Maybe it replays worries about health, finances, or a family member you're concerned about. And before you know it, you're sitting still, but your mind is racing. This kind of mental overstimulation is subtle. It doesn't always come with panic or drama. Sometimes it's just that quiet hum of low-grade worry, a little nagging voice that won't let go of the day. Here's the part that matters. That mental hum isn't just in your head. Your heart hears it too. When your thoughts race, your nervous system activates, your body shifts into a slight state of stress, just enough to raise your heart rate, tighten your blood vessels, and prevent your body from fully settling into its evening rhythm. That means your heart doesn't get the rest it needs. Your blood pressure stays slightly elevated. Your breathing gets shallow. And over time, that tension adds up. In your 70s and beyond, your body becomes especially sensitive to emotional stress. The heart doesn't rebound from tension the way it used to. That's why what you do and what you think about after dinner is so important. But here's the good news. You can retrain your evenings. You can shift your mental habits just like physical ones. Doing so can make your heart feel calmer, lighter, and even younger. Here's what I started doing and what I encourage you to try, even if it's just one small thing tonight. Instead of tuning into the news or scrolling through social media after dinner, I reach for something gentle. Sometimes it's music, sometimes it's a book, often it's silence. But it's always something that soothes, not stirs. I started writing one good thing for my day in a little notebook, Just a single line, something simple. The sunset was stunning, or my neighbor waved to me today. That tiny act of gratitude signals to the brain, we're safe, life is okay. And your heart responds by softening, slowing, settling down. Sometimes I close my eyes and picture something beautiful, a forest path, an ocean view, the face of someone I love. That small visualization helps me release tension and return to the present. I've also replaced mindless scrolling with mindful breathing. Just 5 minutes, in through the nose, out through the mouth. Each breath says, I'm safe, I'm alive, I'm okay. The result? Better sleep, lower nighttime blood pressure, a more peaceful rhythm in my chest, and perhaps most importantly, a feeling of emotional resilience that carries into the next day. Because here's the truth, your heart isn't just a pump, it's a listener. It responds to your thoughts, your feelings, and your environment. It thrives on calm. It tightens under stress. So in the quiet hours after dinner, ask yourself, what story am I feeding my heart tonight? If it's a story of fear, conflict, or endless worry, pause, shift. Reach for something kinder. Call someone you love, not to vent, but to share a kind word. Listen to music that reminds you of good times. Sit outside and feel the evening air. Let your nervous system slow down with the sun. Because when your mind softens, your body follows. Your blood flows better. Your breathing deepens, and your heart, that steady companion, gets the break it's been waiting for. Evenings are a sacred space, a bridge between the energy of the day and the restoration of the night. Don't waste them on tension. Use them to heal. In part 5, we'll bring it all together, how your post-dinner routine, physical, mental, emotional, can become the most powerful hour of your day, and how a few simple tweaks can transform your energy, your sleep, and your heart's long-term health. Now that we've uncovered the quiet danger of sitting still after dinner physically and mentally, and seen how a few gentle movements and a shift in mindset can make a massive difference, it's time to zoom out and look at the full picture, because here's the truth. For most people over 70, the hour after dinner is the most underestimated window of the day. It's the hour that sets the tone for how you sleep, how your heart rests, how your blood flows, and how your body heals overnight. And yet, for most of us, it's also the hour we give away without thinking, to the couch, to the phone, to stress, to stillness. But what if we flipped that? What if we saw this one little window as sacred time, a daily invitation to nourish the heart, reset the mind, and prepare the body for real rest? You don't need to overhaul your life. You just need to reclaim that 1 hour. So let's imagine what that could look like. You've just finished dinner. Instead of heading straight for the TV, you take a slow, easy walk around the block or even just around the living room. Nothing intense, just movement. Just breathe. Just a few moments of rhythm. You come back inside, you pour yourself a glass of water, not too much, just enough to stay hydrated. You tidy up the kitchen with a little music playing in the background. Maybe you sway a little as you wipe the counters. Next, you take a seat, but not slouched, upright, relaxed, supported. You reach for a book instead of a remote. Or maybe you chat with a loved one. Maybe you write in your journal, even if it's just a sentence about something good from the day. As the evening light fades, your body knows what to do. Your heart rate slows, your blood pressure drops, your digestion works smoothly, your nervous system says, hey, finally. Then you get ready for bed, and when your head hits the pillow, it doesn't take long. You drift into a deep, healing sleep, the kind of sleep that resets everything. That's what happens when you reclaim your evening, when you stop doing the one thing that's been quietly aging your heart and replace it with stillness that moves, rest that restores, and silence that soothes. So if you're over 70, here's my gentle challenge to you. Don't give your evenings away to stillness that stiffens. Give them to your heart. You'll feel the change. Not all at once, but little by little. You'll wake up with more energy. You'll feel steadier on your feet. You'll notice your mood is calmer, your sleep deeper, your spirit lighter. And that's what we want, isn't it? Not just more years, but better years. Clearer mornings, softer nights, a heart that carries us not just through the day, but through the rest of this beautiful life. Now, before I go, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. What's one small thing you'll try doing differently after dinner this week? A 5-minute walk, standing and stretching between shows, a little journaling instead of scrolling. Whatever it is, share it, because you never know who you might inspire just by speaking it out loud. And if this story touched something in you, if it reminded you that it's never too late to feel better, I hope you'll like this video, subscribe, and hit that little bell so you don't miss more tips that could change your days in simple but powerful ways. Remember, your heart is listening, not just to what you eat or how you move, but to how you spend your evenings. So tonight, give it something good, Thanks for being here with me. I'll see you in the next one. And until then, take care of that beautiful heart of yours.